All right, and welcome to another exciting installment of the Terrorisk podcast. I'm pretty sure this one's going to be episode 62. And I'm here with Dimitri.
Hey.
Yo, how do you pronounce your last name, by the way?
Let's not get into that.
All right. No, because look, when I introduce you, I want to say your last name, but I don't want to say it incorrectly. So I'm like, is it? Wait, let me just. Is it what?
I don't even want people knowing my last name.
Oh, okay, fine.
We don't have to make ourselves that public.
All right, but otherwise, how have you been? How have you been since the last episode, which is like a good month, maybe a couple months? But yeah, how's life been?
It's been a little crazy, honestly.
Yeah, you got your band and shit.
I got my band, but there's also whatever. There's so much shit I don't even want to go into.
All right, fine. We don't have to go through shit. But you're in a band. We could go through. We could go into that.
Band's
what do you
nice.
play in the band?
Bass.
Are there girls in your band?
No.
All right, good. Good. Because I don't like girls in bands. Because I just like men doing things. Because they're so much more attractive that they're
hold on.
big surly fake.
You're like collabing with a girl.
Yeah, I was just joking.
So.
I was trying to. Yeah. No, yeah, I like girls. Girls are awesome. Girls are cool.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, also girls are just, I don't know, they're just like better vocalists in my opinion. My preference. I like listening to female vocals.
Yeah, same.
That sounds like dirty and politically incorrect to say in this current social political climate, to say yeah, I prefer female vocals. You know,
I don't know. Maybe.
No, you don't think so?
I don't think most people have an opinion on that opinion.
All right, well, I like the sound of female vocals.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? All right, so the reason...
Just like what you like. Honestly, fuck the haters.
No, the reason why I'm thinking about it is because there was I was listening to NPR. You know NPR?
Oh, yeah.
And they had this really cool interview with this well, at first there was a female vocalist and she was able to she was so good. I'm talking about skill level of being able to mimic any Disney operatic performance, from those movies, like that kind of level.
Nice.
And then this vocalist went through a gender transition. So
now we're getting on the edgy topic.
Well, I don't think that's edgy. It's just their truth. This is
Yeah.
literally NPR, so it's not
True.
how controversial could it be. But anyway, the whole interview was literally going into how they had to reconcile with the fact their voice is going to change with the whole treatment and all that shit. So yeah. Actually, fun fact. Also, the guy who did who does the voice and the announcements in the subway station. How does it go? It's please all passengers clear the closing doors, please. Or it's we are at Times Square, whatever, blah blah blah. Transfer is available to that guy.
Yeah.
His name was Bernie Black, whatever. But now that person's a woman. They transition. Wow. So it's to think I was able to listen to the actual thoughts of the guy who the former guy who did that voice, because that's such a what's the word? Not iconic.
It's pretty iconic. I'd say it's
There's another word for it. Where it's just
quintessential,
but it's ever present, omnipresent. Yeah,
okay.
That's probably not even the right word, but whatever.
Timeless.
Yeah, it's definitely essential. But now that we got the bullshit out of the way, for this episode we got something specific planned. I came across this essay that's referencing a theory, that was also turned into a book. The essay itself was written by, it's funnily enough, this guy has a PhD with A initial true OTT. And
PhD in what?
I don't know. I didn't.
It's
I didn't
kind of
look that far.
important.
But the guy who wrote this, or the person who wrote this essay, was referencing a theory, the actual originator of the theory, named Don Harkins, who's dead now, by the way, apparently allegedly murdered. But this guy, Don Harkins, came up with this theory that there are 9 veils of illusion placed on the human soul. And by 9 veils of illusion, we can agree he's talking in a metaphysical sense, right?
I would hope so.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah, like, like not like it's not like there's literal veils placed in front of your eyes. It's
Yeah,
just
we're not getting married as a bride.
no. So
That's what you mean.
yeah. So for this episode, we're just gonna go through each of the 9 veils, and then we'll talk about each one. But before that,
unveil them.
yeah. But before we go through each one, I just want to preface this with the actual words he wrote in 2001. So.
Ooh.
As told
9/11
by
happened.
Don Harkins, over the last several years, I have evolved and discarded several theories in an attempt to explain why it is that most people cannot see truth, even when it smacks them in the face. Those of us who can see, quote unquote, the conspiracy, have participated in countless conversations amongst ourselves that address the frustrations of most people's inability to comprehend the extremely well documented arguments which we use to describe the process of our collective enslavement and exploitation. The most common explanation to be arrived at is that most people just don't want to see what is really going on. Extremely evil men and women who make up the world's power elite have cleverly cultivated a virtual pasture so grass green that few people seldom, if ever, bother to look up from where they are grazing long enough to notice the brightly colored tags stapled to their ears. The same people who cannot see their enslavement for the pasture grass have a tendency to view as insane conspiracy theorists those of us who can see past the farm and into the parlor of his feudal lordship's castle. Finally, I understand why. It's not that those who don't see that their freedom is vanishing under the leadership of the power elite don't want to see it. They simply can't see what is happening to them because of the unpierced veils that block their view. All human endeavors are a filtration process. Sports are one of the best examples. We play specific sports until we get kicked off the playground. The pro athletes we pay big bucks to watch just never get kicked off the playground. Where millions of kids play Little League each spring, they're filtered out until there are about 50 guys who go to the World Series in October. Okay, so behind the first veil.
Well, hold on. Let's just discuss
No, wait. It's still a preference. So it says behind the first veil, there are over 6 billion people on the planet. Most of them live and die without having seriously contemplated anything other than what it takes to keep their lives together. 90% of all humanity will live and die without having pierced the first veil. Indeed, it can be said that less than 1% of the world's 6 billion humans ever pierce all 9 veils, and it would appear that even the small minority is ever shrinking, which is I disagree with personally. In order to keep the virtual pasture green, the global elite also successfully bribe many who have pierced multiple veils in order to misdirect others who may be approaching truth in many areas. I call this simply intellectual prostitution, selling the birthright of universal truth for a worthless mess of pottage. The gilded glitz of wealth, fame, and social elevation have seduced many a gifted intellectual. With full credit given to Don Harkins, here now are the newly updated 9 veils. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. This guy is pretty much saying that this power-hungry and psychopathic cabal of elite world leaders have placed like what is defined as 9 veils or 9 levels of illusion that keep us trapped into the proverbial matrix.
Okay. Yeah. So let's talk about that a little bit. I guess.
All right. So this guy Don Harkins is I want to call him a nut, but he's fucking dead. So it's not even like I could pull up his Twitter account.
No, forget nuts are dead. I'm saying like, what do you think of the idea that like most people can't see truth?
That's a really loaded statement because truth itself it can be argued is very subjective, right?
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, what do you, like, do you think there's, like, how do you think that works? Do you think most people do or don't see truth? And the ones that do, what do you think, like, what do you think stops people from seeing truth, the people who don't see truth?
All right, so instead of using words like truth or untruth, I'm going to see it as perspective. And here's the thing about perspective. Perspective expands outwards or shrinks. So
No. Hold on. I don't think perspective is the same as truth.
Because it matters because all right, so you can only see so much truth if your perspective is so limited.
Yes.
And here's what I think could limit your perspective. It's, for example, let's say you're a poor person. Let's say like you don't even know where your next meal is coming from for you and your kids. Let's say you don't even know if you could put clothes on your kids' like backs.
Yeah.
if you're living that life, there's no way you're going to be able to think beyond into like fucking metaphysical realms and like global economy. All you're thinking about is like, dude, am I gonna get killed on my way home from my shitty job? Like that's the kind of shit that's going to be occupying your mind.
So you're saying like it's like the Maslow's hierarchy thing, right? Like you got to have your basic needs met before you could expand
intellectually.
Think about truth.
Yes.
Okay, that's a fair.
And it's like because like truth. I mean, there's different levels to truth, right? There's different.
I don't know. We haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
There's 9 veils apparently, right? So.
Well, that's exactly the point I'm trying to get at, which is like before you even think about how the world works, you gotta lock down how your own life works.
Right.
Otherwise, you're gonna be viewing the world through the perspective of your own fucked up and shitty, like chaotic life, and it's always going to be like.
Okay. Well, okay. So let's say once you've established that you've gotten a handle on life, you have your basic needs met.
Yeah.
Right, and you're just coasting, chilling, doing your thing.
But how long does that last before you get dissatisfied with that?
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, forget satisfaction, dissatisfaction. I'm saying, like.
I mean, put it this way: like, no one seeks further truth unless they're dissatisfied with something. If they were completely satisfied, they'd be like, I don't really need to learn anything else.
I mean, do you think that's how it works? It could be.
I mean, I think those the people that become billionaires are the kind of people that aren't content with having like just enough or like a limited amount. Like those are the kinds of people that want more and more and more. And I don't think that's necessarily evil or bad. I think if anything, that's very natural.
Maybe. I feel like I have a hard time saying any definitive statements here, but that's okay.
Well, you could just start. All right, if you have a definitive statement come up, just start it with "I think" or "I feel." That gives you carte blanche. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Yeah. No, I'm saying I just don't know how strong opinions I have on certain things because I don't know. I feel
you
like
second guess yourself a lot.
No, I'm saying I feel like we have to ground more the kind of thing we're talking about, right?
Right.
Because like truth can be anything. Like
okay, how about this? We'll define truth in the context of this thing we're talking about, as in like truth as in things that could liberate you from the intellectual and spiritual bondage that most people are in this world.
I don't know if I'd call that truth necessarily. Right?
Well, we could use a different word for it, but that's what they're
that's
clearly.
An interesting thing because
that's clearly what they're referring to. I mean, stupid people. Like, all right, put it this way: in order for society to work, we need stupid people. We need fucking janitors. We need fucking like people who do shitty jobs.
Sure.
Because without that, the world doesn't work. Not everyone could be a fucking president of a conglomerate. Not everyone could be a fucking astronaut. Not everyone could be a brain surgeon. Like, this world needs monkeys to do shitty jobs. Well, that's why.
I'm not even opposed to that either. But I'm saying like. Okay.
Well, saying that's the purpose behind intellectual and spiritual bondage within the masses. We need people to be intellectually and spiritually bonded to this idea of like, work to live.
Do you think like it takes an inherently stupid person to be bonded, or do you think you could bond anyone?
No, I think you could bond anyone, especially the more, and that's the fucked up part. The more empathetic and intuitive they are, the more easily they could be bonded if you get them at an early age.
All right.
The more easily you could entrap them into like, I mean, think about it this way. Like, think about gaslighting. Like, you know how many like people who are intellectually gifted like fall victim to concepts like gaslighting?
Yes.
And we're talking about that. It's not like they're stupid because they were tricked. Well, actually, yeah, that is what I'm saying. They didn't get tricked because they were stupid. They're stupid because they were tricked. Like.
Well, I think. I have a lot to say about that topic.
All right, we could take your time.
No, because so generally speaking, I think most people fall into like 4 like components, right?
Mm-hmm.
Usually people say 3. They say like mind, body, and spirit. But I suspect that's more like the physical, the intellectual, the spiritual, and the emotional. Like, I think it used to be that the spiritual and the emotional were the same. But now that we have stuff like psychology, they're kind of like a different thing.
I think emotional is closely linked to physical. I think
they're all linked to each other to some degree. But like, my point is,
when it comes to spiritual, I think like it's really reduced the emotional spectrum just down to one, which is love. Like if you take spiritual to most extreme ends, like the emotions get whittled away down to just love. you know?
Right.
Whereas if you're physical, if you go into the physical, that's when greed, jealousy, embarrassment, shame,
Well, when I
lust,
say physical, I mean like
things that have to do with the material, our material existence,
but
our
I'm
brains,
saying,
our bodies,
to me,
hormones.
To me, like all that greed, lust, shame, whatever, that's emotional, right?
No, but all that's also physical because it's all the brain chemicals and
Well, no,
shit.
to me, physical is like what you can do with your body, like literally.
Yeah,
like,
and you're telling
like how strong
and you're
you are,
telling
how
me that
capable you
people
are.
don't get angrier when it's, for example, it's hotter outside and all the electricity is down in the city. That's
no,
because
that's not what I'm
that's a
saying.
highly physiological thing. You
That's
know
not what
that
I'm saying. Like, okay, I think like if you're physically capable, right?
Yeah.
You will be able to better deal with that scenario, right? And therefore feel like less extreme emotions, because you're just more fit and more like, you know, you just don't take it as badly.
Wait, what do you mean by that? Like more fit?
Like, you know, like I don't know. Like, you know, if you're I don't know, I have a hard time answering this.
So here's what I
like you just, you know, your body is better able to regulate itself
So what
in
I think-
response to stress.
so what I think is
In like a physiological sense, sure, but like, you know, it's also because, you know, you are capable of movement, you're like probably strong, you're probably healthy.
yeah, but what does that have to do with emotional regulation? Because we see plenty of scrawny guys in like bad situations that could stay calm. We see plenty of big strong guys in bad situations that flip out.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm saying. I think like you can have that's why they're independent kind of, but they're also linked in the sense that like, you know, you can feel like if you're in bad physical shape, you can compensate with like strong intellectual or strong emotional or strong spiritual.
I agree.
Right? But like if you're in good physical shape, you may not feel the need to compensate as much.
I agree. But if
So-
you're like dumb as bricks and you're like big jacked up with a lot of courage, you're still gonna get angry and like cause some damage, you know?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
But you could also be weak as shit and get angry. You just won't have the capability to do anything.
Yeah, but you'll
sit
still
there
be.
and
But the idea is, but the real point is, both are miserable. That's the real bad part. Is that in both cases, both those people are miserable. How do we make the scrawny guy and the big guy comfortable in that situation and like happy in that situation?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like,
Here's what I think. I
Should they be
think
happy in that
I think
situation?
when you take mind, body, and soul and like align them all to where they're just as strong as each other, I think it's not about like excelling one or excelling all of them. It's aligning. It's alignment. It's about making it so that your body is not attacking your mind or spirit. Your spirit is
Yeah,
not attacking
I
your
agree
mind or
with that.
body, and your body is not attacking your spirit or mind. You know, like,
Right.
if you're in alignment, I think that's when emotional regulation becomes extremely easy.
well, I mean, okay, when you say emotional regulation, do you mean not feeling emotion or not acting on emotion?
It's more like how you perceive emotion, how you engage with emotion, your own emotion. So, for example,
Right.
there's different ways to engage with your emotional responses. You can't control, you can't help always getting angry or sad. You know, you'll get angry or sad.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm not talking about how you react to being angry or sad because, you know, how you react to it could be like whatever. I'm saying how you engage with it. You could engage with it from a point of reaction where it's like, I have to react to this emotion that I'm feeling.
Sure.
Or you can engage with it from the context of response. I'm not going to react, I'm going to respond to this emotion.
Okay.
Here's an example of responding versus reacting. If I was reacting to getting angry, I would just flip out, you know, pick something up and fucking throw it, you know, and that's normal if you're angry enough, right?
I guess.
But responding to anger would be like, I'm going to pick up a notebook and I'm going to write something fucked up and like angry about it. But you create something, you know, you channel it. You're able to consciously direct it into something that's non-destructive, that's
Right.
something that you know is actually tangible, that you could actually offer value to your own reflection. Shit like that. There is a difference between reacting and responding. And I think that's highly dependent on perspective.
Okay,
and you're
so-
not feeling anger. You're still
Right.
feeling anger. And you're still doing something about it, but the question is it something that you're in control of, or is it something that's more conscious and directed and more willful and intentional?
Okay, I see. So you feel it, you channel it.
But you're still doing something about it.
Yeah, like it's not a like, oh, I am just angry and
I'm gonna
that's
steam
okay.
about it. No,
Yeah.
no, I'm doing something about it.
Yeah, okay.
Whether
So it's
and
not like
it
a
may not even be
suppression.
write something down. It could literally be, you know what? I'm fucking pissed off. I'm gonna go fucking clean my bathroom because if I don't clean, it's just gonna make me more pissed off.
See, that would make the world a better place.
But that's how I've been living, and you know what? It's made my life a lot fucking better. You know, if I get pissed
like it
off, I'm
would.
like, you know what I'm gonna fucking do about this? I'm gonna go jam. Like, you know, like I'm gonna go jam my heart out. You know, like, It's like I really think like this is why I don't want to sound preachy, and it's hard not to sound preachy when you figure something out good for you and you want to spread it. That's a natural reaction. You figure something out that works for you. You're like, I think everyone should be this happy. Like I really do, because you look around. First of all, it makes it harder. It doesn't make it easy. The fact that everyone's just complaining. Everywhere I look, everyone's just bitching about their lives.
Okay. Well, let's take a small detour then. Okay, do you like? Let's say you get angry, right?
Yeah.
And it's like a thing that you should do something about, right? A thing that you can't just be like, oh, this is just my emotion. Like you need to react.
Yeah. Or you need to do something about, not react or respond, but you need to do something about it.
Like there's problems in the real world. It's not just you feel bad. Right.
It could even be just as going as calling a friend. It's like, listen, I got to talk to someone about this.
No. I mean, like let's say your boss like stopped paying you and then fired you, right? And now you're like pissed.
Yeah.
Right. Like this isn't something you should necessarily let go.
No, because it fucks with your whole livelihood. Yeah.
Right.
You got to do something about it.
I'm saying like that can't be responded to just by jamming. Or by like writing something.
So really, like I said, like the one thing that we can all agree on, regardless of what it is you have to do something about it. If you get pissed off at something, you have to do something about it. And you're going to do something. Whether it's suppressing it, that's doing something about it. Whether it's flipping out, that's doing something about it. Whether it's doing something constructive, like write a poem, whether it's go look for a better job, that's doing something. You have to do something about it. You're going to do something about it when you get pissed off.
True.
You're either going to suppress it, you're either going to act uncontrollably, or you're going to act in a controlled way, whether or not it's the right move of action, but it's going to be willful. I think you have the best shot in the third option. Which is a willful response.
Right.
You know, so it's suppression. I don't like suppression because that just doesn't feel good over a long period of time. I don't like reacting. Like, I don't want to pick up shit and break my own shit. So I want to act in a willful and intentional way. That's how I want to respond. That's how I want to respond to things that piss me off. So if something's pissing me off, like, for example, something that's out of my control, like let's say I'm waiting online for something, and the person in front of me is clearly just being difficult just to waste everyone's time to cause a scene.
Yeah.
Now, I could do something about it, and I do something about it, which is literally I just go Zen mode. I just go completely dead, like I'm not there anymore, and I'm just off in La La Land while this whole thing unfolds before like my meat eyes. I'm not even there. And then once they're gone, I just like snap back in. Like, oh yeah, cool, glad that's over. And so I just pay for my shit, and like, that's how I would choose to respond to that. Like.
But do you think that's like the most effective response?
No, it's just my response. My response.
Well, what do you think would be a more effective response?
If it's someone that like, if it's a store that like I like and I knew the guy, I would say something. I would be like, yo, could you stop giving my man a hard time? Like this is we all have to come here every day, like.
Yeah, give a strong statement. Yeah, okay.
Well, because it's like I know what it's like to have your bodega, and I've had my bodega get fucked with. And while I was there, and I had to say something, I was like, dude, like I come here every fucking day. Like, don't do this to my fucking store. Like I've said that before. I've literally said those words.
Yeah.
And they've looked at me. They looked me up and down, and there was like a bunch of them, and they knew they could fuck me up, but they were like, all right, my bad. Because like I didn't care. Like I was like,
respect the turf. Yeah.
I was like, dude, you could fuck me up for this. I don't give a shit. But I'm literally like, dude, I'm just trying to get a sandwich. Like. This is my sandwich spot. I live right there. Like, you can't fuck with this place. Like, this is my spot.
All right. So you're saying when it's like your territory, you have more commitment to, more
I think that goes without. I think that goes without saying. It's like your home. It's like you gotta. You're not gonna take care of it. Who will? Someone who doesn't live there? Like, no.
No. This is why I'm asking. Like, I'm just trying to establish like baselines for what we're talking about. But yeah, okay, so going back to truth, what I wanted to ask is, do you think it's possible, like, to improve the world through lies? Like, do you think, like, not seeing the truth can be beneficial? Because you said you define truth as, like, well, I forgot what you actually said. Like, whatever helps you...
No, I mean, in the context of what this essay refers to as truth, I saying is what holds you back from like acknowledging your empower. I think that
So you don't think you could do that with lies?
What do you mean? No, I mean, I could tell you. I think there's a reason for the lies. I think there's a very good reason to like entrap that many people, which is I just said.
No. I'm saying forget their lies, the 9 veil, like the veils. I'm saying forget the veils. I'm saying like. Do you think you can empower your life without seeing truth? Like, is that possible?
I think we're all.
Do you think it has to be truth?
I don't think it has to be truth at all. I think we're all born into lies. I think we're all born into material lies, as you know, ever since like we're infants. I don't think anyone is truly born, you know, knowing and understanding, because like our brains are little peanuts when we're babies. You know, it has to develop. We have to develop like actual like points of references within the material world before like we could reflect on the material world using our material senses, and then like breaking past that reflection and realizing there's more to this, isn't there? You know, it's like once before you can reach that breakthrough through actual material experiences, which is tricky in itself. You know, not everyone's going to have the same material experiences, and it's really hard because there's a lot of things blocking you from the correct chain of experiences that's going to like actually elevate your consciousness. And like the thing is, it's always like based on emotions, like our lowest emotions, like fear, greed, lust, anger, you know, like shit like that, like jealousy.
Okay. So you're saying you think you have to overcome those things
if you want to see truth. If you want, not everyone wants to see truth.
I'm saying forget want to or not. I'm saying, is it like a prerequisite for truth?
Yes, I think anyone who's ever actually found truth had to go through some extent of trauma.
Well, trauma and I feel like you just changed the premise there.
Oh, you know, all right. So when I say trauma, I mean it in a very, very, very literal and clinical sense. Like, you know, like objects could go through traumatic structural damage.
Okay,
you know,
let me step back a little. Like, no, you were saying, you know, we feel all these emotions, right? Like greed and whatever, anger.
All right, no,
and they're clouding our ability to see truth.
No, that's not. I don't even mean emotion. No, I don't even mean emotionally. It's just we get very comfortable in patterns, and those patterns are only going to get you more and more content. It's not going to give you a drive to want to expand your understanding and your perspective, because the comfortable patterns, make your worries like diminished more and more as you live them. Like, oh, I'm stuck in this comfortable pattern. I don't have to worry about food. As long as I do this, this, and this, I get fed, I get shelter, and I get whatever.
Right.
That's going to keep you in a state. But what happens, right, when that gets disrupted? Then you have no choice. Then you have to go and find like alternatives. You have to go and learn new things to create new patterns that could actually like, you know, like fulfill you and like actually like fucking keep you fed and keep you safe. Like once your patterns get disrupted, that's what causes you to learn how to rebuild your patterns into something else that works. Once you go through the act of building your own routines and your own patterns, that's when you become closer and closer to understanding the nature.
But this goes back to like our initial thing with like what I'd called a Maslow's hierarchy, right? Like you were saying, you have to like be secure in order to perceive truths, right?
And you can't be secure unless you go through moments. You can't truly be secure unless you actually understand what being insecure feels like from the first person.
So I guess what you're saying is like
experience always trumps
the first level would be like you're secure. Then after that, it's like you fall into insecurity and you rebuild. Then you see like the pattern of rebuilding, and you're like, okay, now I see like the paths
I'm in control.
to security.
Yeah.
Okay, you could say that. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's not even like it's up to me. It's just what I've seen throughout all accounts with my own family, with people. I've seen people seen people transcend this, where they ignored these fundamentals and ended up fucking up their lives, so they ended up in a grave. And I've seen friends where they completely like abided by this and ended up in great places. You know, so it's like.
Well, what about the opposite? Have you seen anyone not do this and succeed?
No. Never.
Really?
I've never seen exceptions to like this kind of like thinking, where it's like people who've been through shit usually and survived are usually better equipped to handle further shit. It's just a simple truth, you know?
All right. Okay, I see.
It's not even like I'm saying like anything outlandish. Like it makes sense. Like it's like, yeah, if you've been through shit, if you've weathered storms and survived it, chances are you know how to weather further storms because you've experienced it. You know what to do about it. So it's like, yeah, it's experience always trumps natural ability, in my opinion. Like, because experience usually means like if you're granted experience, it means you survived it. It means you lived through it. It means it didn't kill you. You know, like say if you say you have that experience, it means you didn't die in that battle and you walked away with that experience.
But like, you don't think that's a kind of survivorship bias? Like, you don't know why you survived necessarily. It may not be anything even up to you. Like, you could have just gotten lucky.
No, you're right. Like, I'm not talking about the reasons for surviving. I'm saying what you walk away from survival. With that survival, regardless of whether it was pure dumb luck or not, it doesn't matter, because if you survive, you still walk away empowered.
Well, do you?
Yes, because you
Think so?
you experience some crazy. You get insight. Insight is a very valuable thing, and that insight only grows with experience.
Well, I don't think. No, I mean, I personally don't believe. Well, okay, you just because you went through shit doesn't mean you got insight from it, right? Like,
I think I disagree. I think if you've been through shit, you will get insight. You know how I know? You know how I know?
I
Because
think
like
you need like reflection and like
no,
all
no, no.
kinds of
Here's the
shit
deal.
to
I
get
think
the insight.
I'm convinced the body is capable of remembering things that our brains can't necessarily. Because here's like with
that's
martial arts,
fine.
for example. Like I could tell someone till I'm blue in the face, like what to do, like how to block something, right? And then
Yeah.
I could just say over and over and over again, and they'll be like yes, yes, and I'll remember, and then I'll be like, and they'll still make the same mistake, and I'll ask them, what did you do? And they'll repeat exactly what I told them. I was like, all right, fine. So I get up and say, all right, do it with me now. And then what I do is I take the practice sword and I smash them once really bad, like so hard till they drop the sword and they're like, ow. And I'm like, that is why you don't do that. And then after that, they never made the same mistake. I do think like certain kinetic teaching is way more effective when
but-
it comes to like.
Yeah, but my point is, there you taught, right? Like you showed them the wrong way.
No,
I'm saying-
all right. Here's a better example. Like, I could explain. Like, let's say you don't know how to ride a bicycle.
Yeah.
I could explain to you how to ride a bicycle, and you're never gonna get it that
Oh,
way
of course.
until I actually put a bike there, and then
Right,
and then
but
you
I'm
try
saying
it. Yeah.
that's not the same thing as surviving.
Yes, it is. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing, actually.
Mm.
Survival is literally like riding a bike. It's a balance between going autopilot and conscious like action. It's some kind of in between state. That is life. That's
no,
what
but
life
I'm
is.
saying a situation is not clear cut like training, right?
No, what I'm talking about is like how like the elements of the smallest scale can also reflect in the highest scale, as above, so below. That's the whole point of that principle.
Okay, but my point is, like, you know, you can survive a fight and not learn any real principles from the survival.
That's not
You
true.
Just happen to have
That's not true.
survived.
If you survive a fight, you're gonna learn how to take a hit. Your body's gonna learn how to take a hit.
Maybe the other guy was just bad at it,
Then it's barely a fight.
but you don't know that.
I'm saying. All right. So anyway,
Yeah,
we,
okay,
we went
let's-
through the preface. So let's go through these fucking veils, yo.
Yeah,
Let's go
Chris-
veil hunting.
Chris has a printer and he used it. He's so excited.
Oh, I've used it for other shit besides this.
He has physical paper with stuff written on it.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Actually, every time I just want to say, like, every time I print something, I don't just throw it away after I'm done with it. You know what I do?
What?
I use
Eat
it. I use it to write my shopping list, like my grocery list.
Very-
I reuse
Very
it.
eco-friendly.
Hells yeah. I'm not trying to waste paper. Anyway, all right. So we got to go through these 9 veils. So the first veil. This is the first veil that keeps you from seeing the truth of reality.
All right.
And you bear with us, guys. This is gonna get really wacky by like the 5th or 6th veil. Anyway, the first veil. 10% of us will pierce the first veil and find the world of politics. We will vote. We will become active and develop an opinion. Our opinions will be shaped by the physical world around us. We will have been conditioned from our days in public education to accept that government officials, network media personalities, and other experts, quote unquote, are the primary voices of authority. 90% of the people in this group will live and die without having pierced the third veil. So yeah, the first veil.
Okay, so I think this one's probably correct
Yeah.
to some degree.
Yeah, because I remember when I'm a kid, it's like the first thing I learned is like, yeah, your world is run by the president and these governments and then the news, everything they say is true. And you're as a kid, you're like, yeah, okay, yeah, I believe in the war in Iraq.
Oh.
Support our troops.
I mean, I don't even think you consciously believe it. I think you just,
Are told.
I mean, like, I think at some level you don't even have like a reality questioning thing. You just hear it and you're like, I guess, you know.
Also, first of all, we
Like,
have
what are you gonna say?
we also have to acknowledge that this is all material world shit. So before spoiler alert, but eventually this is going to get into some whatever like metaphysical shit. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So yeah. Okay. So there's not much to say about that. Yeah.
No,
Obviously.
hold on. I think honestly the first like 2 I think are like the most interesting. Hold on.
Is that where you're at? You're only at the second. You're only past the second veil, huh?
Could be the case.
All right. Anyway, second veil.
Well, no, hold on. Let's go. Just keep on the first one.
No,
Let's
because
just go
they
on.
said first and second veil is like the same percentage of humanity will be able to
It
pierce
doesn't
that.
matter what percentage. I'm saying, like, you know, I think there's a lot to be said about the validity. mean, like, if piercing veils is important.
Okay,
right?
so
like,
all right, fine.
We should
let's say
really
you're
consider
let's
the
say,
entrance.
Let's say you're a complete fucking idiot who did not know anything. Who you didn't even know who the president was. You didn't know anything about like anything about foreign policy. You didn't know that how like tedious like the balance of power is in the global theater. Like you didn't know
Sure.
any of that shit.
Okay.
What kind of person would that be? Like some kind of fucking meth head? Like it's
Well,
like
no.
Even meth heads are mad smart and politically conscious these days. Like how dumb do you have to be? Like
Well, no, there's a difference between like not knowing who the president is and thinking like,
is there though? Is
everyone
there?
like the people who are running this are like the authority and have everything together, right?
I think that's one and the same. I do.
You can't say like as soon as you know about the president, you know he's full of shit, right? Like that doesn't make sense. Like plenty of people, believe our elected officials are good
All right.
and capable.
Let's look to kids.
Actually, forget good and capable because this is a stronger claim. I think they're like in control
You know
and
what?
can do
Let's
things that are like. Super
let's look to
useful.
the actual bottom rung of society. Let's look to kids. What are the first thing kids are taught?
I don't know.
No. When it comes to like how our world works, like who runs our world, like what's the first thing our kids are taught? What was the
I
first
don't
thing?
think they are taught. I think they just absorb it.
Really?
I don't think anyone says, "Hey guys, like
This is our
Obama
president?
runs America." Like,
Where did
I
you
don't
go
think
to? Where
anyone
did you?
says
Where
that
did you go to? Where did you
deliberately.
go to elementary school?
Where?
Yeah.
Well, what does that have to do with anything?
Were you born in this country?
No.
When did you move here?
When I was 7.
Oh, interesting.
Is that important?
I didn't think it was before, but I'm kind of thinking about it now, and I think because I was born in this country, right? And yes,
Okay.
I was born from immigrants, but still, like
Sure.
ever since I was like even like 4, like I remember growing up like being read and told about who our president was. So it's like maybe
No, you learn about the president, but like
No,
you
no.
don't really like. Yeah, okay, they're like the highest official, whatever, right? They run shit, fine. But I'm saying it's not so like. Maybe I'm just wrong.
No, I do think I think it matters. I think it might matter because, like, for example, I know immigrants because, like, my whole family besides me are immigrants. So it's like, but my immigrant family came to this country. A lot of them young enough to the point where they also grew up with American history. Just, I think that you're like my parents. Like my parents' generation are like you. Like they came to this country at around the age you came to this country. So imagine you had kids. That would be me. Like
Right.
that'll be my perspective on American like.
Yeah.
Way of
Hopefully they have a podcast.
interesting. Okay, so the second veil. Apparently
okay.
the same amount of people, which is 10% of us.
Honestly, I do not care about the percentages of people.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
don't
the
either.
least
Yeah,
relevant
it is
part.
because that's I disagree with that heavily too. Anyway. 10% of us will also pierce the second veil to explore the world of history, the relationship between man and government, and the meaning of self-government through constitutional and common law.
Okay.
90% of the people in this group will live and die without having pierced the third veil. So yeah, I agree with that. Like if you're the vaguely politically conscious, then you're gonna care about history. That's basically what they're fucking saying.
No, see, I disagree with that one. Most people who are politically conscious, I feel like explicitly don't care about this.
No, because they start. Yeah, I agree.
I think they eventually need to learn. If
Yeah,
they wanna,
because they start talking shit, and then someone smarter than them comes along. He's like, "Actually, buddy, you're fucking wrong." And that's when like, "Fuck, now I gotta study history."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah, George Bush could suck his own dick like Marilyn Manson, and they're like, "What? Where'd you read that?"
Obama is actually part Jewish. Thank you very much. Like,
Yeah, and part terrorist.
that's why he's so powerful. He's got like both the Sharingan and
Ooh.
the.
Yeah, he can. Obama has pierced the veils.
Yo, dude.
How many veils do you think Obama pierced? That's a real question.
All nine. He's
think,
pierced all 9.
You think he has unconditional love and God and all that?
Well, here's the thing.
I don't think he does.
I think that.
I don't even think he knows
listen.
about the lizard people. I don't think Obama, unless he is.
He is the lizard. See why this is fun? I love this shit. This is fun.
Yeah. Okay. So, but if he's not even human, then he cannot pierce any veils.
No.
technically.
So there's this theory that like the elites, the reptilian.
Well, hold on. That's going to be like veiled some
All right,
number.
fine.
We
Okay,
will get to
all right,
that.
So all right, third veil. 10% of
Wait,
those.
hold on. Well, let's keep on the second veil, though.
Okay, the second
I feel
veil.
like these are the good ones.
So second veil was about history. That's
Yeah.
really what the second veil was about. It
No,
was
but,
dealing.
like, do you think most people like learn about history?
Yes.
Like, do you
if
think
they
a lot of
if they
people-
learn about politics, they automatically delve because the history is the only thing that really props the politics up. That it's whether it's fake or not.
Well,
It's,
no. Okay, so I'd say there's two things. There's history, and then there's ideology.
but the ideology is informed by history.
It wants to be.
But all the ideologies are like, look at the past, look what happened. See, in order to avoid that from happening, you got to follow this ideology. That's really what.
Kinda. I mean, some reason from first principles. That's like a lot of modern ideologies, right?
I mean,
like,
they talk about it in like a historical, whether it's like a religious ideology or
well,
like
no,
a
but like the
political
whole
ideology.
trick with modernism is it's science based, right? Like they sat down and were like, what's a great way to run society? Oh, if everyone was like equal and had all resources that they needed, or like, you know, if we got rid of all the bad people and only kept the good people. These are like first principle reasonings,
Yeah.
right? They're not like historically based. If anything, if they studied history, they'd know these are not good ideas. But that's
yeah,
the
where if
whole
everyone
trick.
lives forever, then that would be a terrible world.
No, but I'm saying, like, you know, like they thought they were above history when they did this first principle reasoning, which is why they came up with that stuff and tried to implement it. Because they were like, science can know better. We can have idealized solutions. We don't have to look at like similar things that were tried because we have technology, we're smart, you know, like that sort of
So
shit.
basically, you're saying someone could just buy into a political ideology with like no regard to the history that actually like built it up in the first place.
Either no history or often
a false history. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what
So
you're saying.
like, you know, revisionist history,
Yeah.
like, oh, you know, they said this,
But
but
you know what?
actually this group had the right idea.
Whether
Whether
or
just
n-
keeping them out.
Whether or not you are
Blah, blah, blah.
adept at identifying falsified history compared to correct history, that doesn't mean you care about history any more or less. You still care about it, whether or not you buy into false history by accident or, you know, like whatever.
But this is like the veil thing, right? It's like
you care
know,
about it. They're saying you
well,
care about the
you're
history.
you're kind of forced to care about it, and
Yes.
as you study it, you become like historically aware in addition to politically aware,
Yeah.
and that's
By
like,
de facto. That's
and
what
then
they're saying.
your
It's-
veil becomes pierced or whatever, right?
Yeah, by de facto they're saying. But what's interesting is with the stupid percentage thing, they're saying like as many people that get into politics are going to be as many people that get into the history of it, which makes sense. I think that makes sense.
I mean, I do agree with the first veils. I do think learning history can be downstream from
learning politics
or like being
yeah,
caring about politics.
yeah.
But I don't know. These days, I see so many people that are like super politically interested,
But they
and
care
have
about
no idea
but they
about
care
it.
about history, but they're just false history. You
No,
know?
they
It's
don't
like-
even like
it's
they
wrong
only-
history.
No, they only care enough to like justify their shit and win an argument.
Yeah.
Like they don't really like sit down and be like, okay, who are these people? What do they think? What year was this? How did this play out? Like, why do they have
Also,
these
the
ideas?
problem with
Context.
the problem with
None of
history,
that.
the problem with history is the best we could do is only reference the most correct person's text possible.
Yeah, sure, that's the
It's
thing.
not even like none of us were there. We don't have a time machine to actually go there and like relive it and see what actually happened.
But I mean, but hold on. Even within our own history, you don't fucking know what's going on. Like,
Yeah,
we only
exactly. That's
read
what I'm
it
saying.
From sources
that's exactly what I'm
in
saying.
the same way anyone else does.
That's how like
Unless
flimsy.
you're like in.
Well,
the
maybe
scenario.
that's why it's such a low level fucking veil because it's that flimsy. You know, it's like so subjective. Well, it's not that
Well,
subjective.
It's
but
flimsy, but it's also basic.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Everyone
it's-
has to. In order
is a
for it to work,
basis.
everyone has to agree and trace it back to like the common threads. You know, like yeah, I agree. It is
Okay.
basic. Okay, so anyway,
Okay.
the third veil. So 10% of those who pierce the second veil will eventually pierce the third veil to conclusively find that the resources of the world, including people, are controlled by extremely wealthy and powerful families whose incorporated old world assets have, with modern extortion strategies, become the foundation upon which the entire world's economy is currently indebted. 90% of the people in this group will live and die without having pierced the fourth veil. So
Yeah.
basically what the third veil is saying, there's intergenerational wealthy families that are so powerful. They literally control the world beyond nations, beyond sovereign coalitions of nations. Like they're saying that like beyond beyond borders, there's elite families that rule all that shit.
Okay, so as a Jewish person, I vehemently deny this.
You don't have to be Jewish, I don't think. Like, I think you could just admit, like, you know, I look at like royal family lineages. You know, like, if someone did like a lineage traceback of like all the presidents,
Yeah.
and all but one of them are like all related, going back only like 16 generations. It's
Like,
not even
I don't know if that's true either.
It is. No, it's you could Google this shit, but we can confirm it later. I'll show it to you. But yeah, it's true. It's actually true.
All right, but yeah. I mean, I think there are like powerful families and whatever. I don't think they really control everything. I don't think you can control everything.
Why not?
Well, how would you?
By controlling their minds.
Well, how would you do that?
By making them believe that their lot in life is completely random and they have no control over it.
Well, okay, but how do people? I don't think anyone's ever told that though. Like, most people are like told about like empowerment and doing what you love.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to tell anyone that explicitly. All you got to do is just promote stupid things like individualism, and that's going to divide people.
Well, hold on. Does individualism divide people? Is
Yes.
that the
By nature, yes.
Okay, so instead you want to promote collectivism? I feel like that's
No,
just as bad.
no. Collectivism. You're right. It is just as bad because collectivism doesn't undo individualism. All collectivism does is forces everyone on like a status quo. So yeah, it doesn't solve the problem. It just makes more problems. So the only way
But I'm
to
saying, by what mechanisms are we? Okay.
it's all material.
Well, there's two ways we could approach this, right? It's either people are naturally born free and aware, and then higher powers suppress the awareness, or people are not born aware, and higher powers suppress people reaching awareness. Right? They're two different mechanisms.
I think it's more so the second one.
Maybe.
I think the whole point of being born is to be not aware and to become aware over time.
Right. So you're saying everyone's born not aware, and
Yes.
as long as you just keep the knowledge out, like, people won't become aware.
Unless you go through specific experiences, like natural experiences, like the monomyth,
Yeah.
the hero's journey,
Yeah.
the hero's. I think that's a very important thing, and I think that's I don't think it's just a way to tell like storybook stories. I think that's an actual reflection of how human life works.
Okay, fine. So do you think, like, royal, aristocratic, long lineage families suppress our heroes' journeys in some way?
Maybe not intentionally, but they know that in order for them to retain their power, they can't have everyone in their kingdom self-actualize all willy-nilly, and they might not even mean to suppress that specifically. All they could think is like,
Well, forget if they mean, or I'm saying, through what mechanisms would they do this? We know
Capitalism.
about the history.
Capitalism.
We know about the hero's journey.
capitalism,
Well, as opposed to what?
as opposed to spirituality.
Well, do you think they're opposed?
Yes.
Why?
Because capitalism is purely focused on the material aspect of reality, whereas spirituality is acknowledging the connectedness of all life.
No. I mean, I'm saying, why do you think they're mutually exclusive? Like, you could have capitalism and spirituality. I don't think they are mutually exclusive.
No, it's not that they're mutually exclusive. It's just that they're more on different levels.
Right.
You know, like, because like we're all forced into this material body, obviously, to explore this world, and it just so happens that a lot of materialism happens to be most efficiently governed and like facilitated by capitalism, and I get that.
Okay, and
but
that's
it's
fine.
not. But
you could have that focus, but I'm saying, why
but
does
if you
that
don't-
preclude spirituality?
Because you could get so caught up with material satisfaction that you forget that we are not our bodies, that we are more than, just our physical form.
Okay, that's kind of fair. I'll go with that.
Yeah, because like think about it, like all of our material work and material satisfaction is all based on material satisfaction, pleasures of the flesh, of earthly domain. It's not like it's going
Right.
to give you metaphysical meaning. It's not going to metaphysical satisfaction, which is like, why am I here?
Wait, but you think, like, the aristocratic families are conspiring or working to make this the case?
I can't confirm it, but my gut is telling me yeah.
I don't believe that.
I get that. That's why I say like I can't confirm it because like I know it's like any rational skeptic would say show me proof and then I'll believe it.
Well,
And I'm the same
forget
way.
proof.
I'm the same way.
I don't even think you need those kinds of things. Like I don't think you need like whole families or whatever.
Dynasties?
Yeah, I don't think you need dynasties. I think like we
Well,
can just wander
here's
off
what I do know.
on our own perfectly.
I
well.
do know how power works, and I know when it comes to like actually forming conglomerates and syndicates, I know that family is the biggest asset. So I know that, you know, when it comes to transferring power and preserving power and to receiving power, I know it's those who like see the system of like inheritance, genetic inheritance, like not just like material, but also like, you know, metaphysical and like, you know, like the whole narratives behind like inheriting certain traits and certain material birthrights.
Okay.
I could see how that could really solidify things and transfer of power and kind of
Wait, so do you think those aristocrat families are like superior beings because of their genetics? Is that
No,
what
I
you're
think they're
claiming?
just a part of the game. You know, I really think they're just they like. What would a video game be without bosses? What would a video game be without challenges? What would a video game be without opposition?
I mean,
What would a
look,
video game be without the
Yeah,
bad
no,
guys?
there's a difference between claiming, you know, there exist people in higher stratus, you know, higher echelons
Yeah,
than us,
it's true.
and those people control like facets of our reality.
Yeah,
They're two different claims.
Well,
like,
I mean,
there
all right,
obviously
wait,
exists like
when you say facets of our reality, what do you mean?
like, you know, they prevent us from seeing like certain things.
Like what?
Like spiritual stuff.
Okay,
or,
like what?
Realizing. Well, what do you mean, like what? Like what
Well,
we're
don't you
talking about.
don't you see that unfolding like as science becomes more prominent and accepted as a de facto lens to view reality through? Like, yeah, it's going to make you locked out of spirituality. How is that so
Well,
hard to believe?
So I think in the current times, that is actually failing. Like science is not. Like science is losing its ground as the de facto.
And that's what,
lens
and I'm
through
telling
which
you
to view
why. It's
reality.
because no matter what, science. I mean, no matter how many discoveries we make through science, what it never answers is. It forces us to believe that we are just this random outcome of like this causal phenomenon where we're just this like weird outcome of like random happenings with absolutely no meaning. It's all chaotic. It's just all blah. You know, like that.
Well, I mean, I think that's both true and not true.
I like that.
it's
I like.
technically
I
true.
think that's a beautiful way to put it. If it's technically true, but also you understand that if it's that true, then that in itself means it's kind of not true. You know, because like if you could identify it, you could put order to it, no matter
Right.
what. That's
Yeah.
the problem. You know, like
No, but I do think, like, as a person who does science, it's pretty easy to hit the limits of science.
yeah,
I think anyone who knows science acknowledges that.
because there's too many things that break the rules, so to speak.
No, it's not even break the rules. It's like, it's a very bounded domain. You know, it deals with very specific, rational.
How much do you know about like
Concepts.
quantum physics? Like, are you a specialist in that at all?
No.
Isn't that
But-
stuff weird to you though, as a person who engages with science? Like, don't you think quantum mechanics is fucked up?
I don't think it really changes too many things. I
Really?
think people, yeah. I think a lot of people like to think it does, but I don't think it really does. Like, the thing about, you know, stuff like Newton's laws versus, you know, like
Newton.
relativity.
By the way, Newton was a huge theologist, right?
Sure.
He was a huge.
Not necessarily relevant, but
He was a huge fan of the Bible.
yeah, and he also wanted to do like alchemy or something.
He was an alchemist. He was an
Yeah.
active alchemist. Like
Right.
he did it in secret though, because they would have fucking killed him. Like
Yeah.
if they found out.
No, and it makes sense that, you know, he would be obsessed with these
Also,
sorts of
Einstein
material stuff.
and you know Nikola Tesla and Einstein were like huge scholars of like esoteric studies.
Yeah. I mean, actually, I don't know. I don't know about Einstein. I don't know about Tesla either.
Einstein and Tesla were both. Also, you know Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
You know, like that whole quote, like now I am become death, destroyer of worlds. That was
Yeah.
literally a dharmic quote from the whole mythology between Vishnu and his chariot driver, and the story goes his chariot driver was going to battle with Vishnu, and he was driving. He's like, they were facing a whole army, and he knew like the power of the god, his boss, was going to destroy them all. He's like, but please, my family and friends are in the army that we're riding against. And he had to explain to him, is like, listen, the fact that you feel sad about it means you do not understand the true nature of your reality. We live in a material world. That's all those separate identities, that's all illusion. The only point of us right now is to do battle and to like wipe out them before they wipe out us. Do you want us to be wiped out? And he said, no. Exactly. So you do your duty, wipe them out, and know that we will all eventually, go to the next level of existence. And that's like literally Oppenheimer quoted that. And like he did that for a reason. That was real shit. Like that wasn't just that wasn't just a random quote. Like he understood
an atom bomb,
he understood the mythology down to its very symbolic nature and was able to quote it in like a very public instance in the one moment he had to reflect on what he did and what he created. And that's what he chooses to say. And he did that for a reason. And that's purely metaphysical. It's nothing, and he was one of the he's the father of the atomic bomb.
Yeah.
So like, if this man can view the world through that lens, then I think any smart person can.
Sure, but going back to science and scientific advancement, right? So like, take like Newton's laws versus relativity, right? Like, just because we got relativity doesn't mean Newton's laws stopped applying. Like, Newton's laws are very good for things that happen on Earth, right? It's as we got to, like, space and, like, bigger distances, bigger masses, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That we started seeing other effects, right? And those effects had to be explained by new theories. And those theories were relativity.
All right, so, like, what new effects? Like, when we expand our perspective, like, what gets bent in the process?
Well, like, what is relativity about, right? It's about the speed of light.
Time and space.
Yeah, space, time, speed of light.
Yes.
Right? Like, on Earth, the speed of light, we don't really encounter it because our distances are so short. It's not really a problem. Once you go, like billions of miles out, the speed of light becomes a factor.
Yeah.
And you start having to consider, what happens in those instances.
Yeah, no, that's not what's it called? That's not fucked up. Like, that makes perfect sense. It's like, if you go far enough out into space, obviously it's going to take that much more time for light to travel, and therefore time is going to be bent because,
right,
your perception of time is going to be different.
But I'm saying it's not like Newton's stuff got invalidated necessarily.
No, it kind of, because when
it doesn't because it still applies for regular Earth.
Yeah, but what quantum mechanics does is it essentially breaks that. For example, when they take two quantum qubits in entanglement and they found no matter the distance, whether it could be 2 inches or 2 million light years, they realized that there was like a relative relationship between those quantum bits where whatever happens to one, no matter how far it's out in the same instance, it's going to change.
Okay.
So like that alone kind of breaks things, and this is
what do you mean by breaks things though? Because things still work. Like
that literally broke what you defined as the relative relationship between time and space. How could something that happens that far away happen in that when it literally?
The point is, it's not that it breaks it. Like, the thing is, all these things are models, right? Like, none of them are gonna fully encapsulate all of reality.
I agree with that.
Right? So, like, relativity is still a good model for a lot of aspects
of limited physical space. Yeah.
Of
a more limited view of physical space. But you're right. You know what?
But as you drill down, you see like, there's cases where this doesn't apply. Other shit happens. Right? And that other shit's always been happening.
Yeah, I get it. It's like, for example, it's like, let's say
it doesn't mean like you can't use the earlier stuff for the earlier things.
Like, you know what?
Still fine.
Here's a good analogy. Like, let's say we're just recording a guitar track just on its own. Okay. And we make that one guitar track sound good on its own. Suddenly we add a drum track. Now we got to EQ some parts away.
Yeah.
Of what we know about that guitar mix. And we got to EQ some stuff, carve away some things, undo some things to make it fit.
Sure.
And then we expand outwards to a baseline, and suddenly we got to like eliminate the low end on both. So yeah, I get what you're saying. As you expand out and add other elements into our understanding of reality, we're going to have to change the rules a bit. I agree with that. You can't argue with that. That's literally the most sensible way to put it.
But it's not that the rules didn't change. The rules were always in play. Like, quantum mechanics always existed. We just didn't
Didn't
know
understand it. Yeah.
About them. Well, actually, I say we even did know about them. We just didn't. Yeah, we
Or
didn't
or maybe the
understand.
elites knew about it and they just hid it from us.
No, forget elites. I'm saying like here's the thing. Now that we know about relativity, we could see the effects of, the speed of light on Earth, right? Stuff like computer processors require, the speed of light to be in play when you're switching at like super fast gigahertz frequencies.
All right.
Or like if you're doing like radio transmission.
Yo, I gotta ask, did we just finish the third or fourth veil?
Third.
Okay, so we're on the fourth
Wait,
veil.
what was third? Oh yeah, the elites.
All
Right.
right, so the third veil.
Yes, the fourth veil.
Fourth veil. The fourth veil. 10% will then pierce the fourth veil to discover the Illuminati and the other secret societies. Yeah. These societies use symbols and perform ceremonies that perpetuate the generational transfers of arcane knowledge that is used to keep the ordinary people in political, economic, and spiritual bondage to the oldest bloodlines on Earth. 90% of the people in this group will live and die without having pierced the fifth veil. So the fourth veil, they're talking about like the Illuminati, the Freemasons, and the Skull and Bone Society. They exist. We gotta at least admit that they exist.
Yes.
They fucking exist.
Yeah, I don't think they're nearly as powerful as I don't think they're relevant.
You don't know that, but you know they fucking
I'm
exist.
Pretty sure they're relevant.
But you know every president was a member of like the Skull and Bone Society. and
No, what the fuck would I know that?
You didn't know that?
What? Since when?
That's not common knowledge.
Is it?
Yes.
What the fuck is the Skull and Bones? I never heard of the Skull and Bones Society.
It's like this secret society that was
Well,
like,
is this a secret? How do we know about it?
because there was a lot of leaks once smartphones came into the picture. Like people were like filming it, and they're active in Ivy League college campuses. So like all the presidents were like a member of that.
This is I don't know.
You didn't know about
No.
this?
Why the fuck would I learn about this? What is like who what?
The Skull and Bone Society. Okay, so the Skull and Bone Society is supposedly a secret society of the elites.
So secret.
And they're mostly activated. Initiates come in during college years, and they're only active in like Yale, Princeton, Harvard, like Ivy League schools. And what was weird was every president is allegedly a member. And like you had instances where literally people went in public and asked presidents, it's like, what do you know? Weren't you a member of the Skull and Bone Society, like a secret society that all the presidents are a member of? George W. Bush was literally like, it's so secret I can't talk about it. Dog. No, I'm serious. Like all these motherfuckers were a member of the secret society. And
why? Okay. Why can't they just say no? Why wouldn't they lie about it?
Because
if it's secret. If you're keeping a secret, you're not gonna say it's so secret I can't talk about it. That's like the dumbest shit I ever heard. Like you're basically confirming it.
Put it this way, they're hiding under plain sight. They could just be like, yeah, we're about as serious as like Scientology, you know? Yeah, we're not it's so secret. I can't
I mean,
talk about it.
Scientology's pretty serious though. Like if
So
you had
now
presidents,
so now imagine Scientology with president. Exactly. That must how serious is that? You know, that's serious.
but I don't know anything about this. I guess I haven't pierced the fourth veil, huh?
All right, so let's go deeper.
Well, no, hold on. Let's. Why are you so eager to move on?
Because there's 9 veils and like we're burning a lot of time.
So you know what? You get good discussion.
Oh no, yeah. I love
Just
the
stating that it's
discussion.
boring.
I love the discussion. It's just what's it called? It's honestly it's all logistics, because like when it comes to like 2-3 hour episodes, YouTube and Anchor, and they get a little fucky with the content. No, but I don't mind. You're right.
But
you know what?
What's our time right now?
I don't give a shit.
Okay, then.
No, you're right. I was wrong. You're right. I shouldn't rush. Because you're right. The fourth veil is fascinating as fuck. And I can't believe you don't know about the Skull and Bone Society in the actual. Do you know? No, we're still on the fourth veil.
The Illuminati, right?
Yeah, but you agree with the Illuminati. We all know the Illuminati
No, the
exists.
Illuminati existed. I don't know if they're like relevant now.
Do you think? Whatever.
Or
Yeah,
if they
we don't
do
know.
anything.
No, we don't know.
Like
We don't
you
know.
got like Rothschilds. Like I don't know what the fuck they're up to. Like, it's,
Freemasons exist.
yeah, sure, but like, so. I like where are they exerting control? I don't.
Well, if they did exert control in the ways that matter, we're not supposed to know about it, are we?
But what would be the mechanisms? That's my question.
Violence, threats against like key members of media.
Well, I mean, people definitely do threats and key stuff, but I don't think that's because of a top-down conspiracy. I think that's just because of power and insecurity.
Well, put it this way: if someone as lowly as like a global thug agency like the CIA could literally do honeypot operations where it's like, it's like they invite billionaires, like, yeah, everyone come to this child fucking island. All the powerful people are there, and you'd be surprised who would show up, right?
Oh, okay. Question: if you were a billionaire and you got invited to a child fucking island, would you fuck a child?
I don't think those people had a choice. I think
why
it's.
not?
I really think it's as dark as like, yo, you want to be
forced.
You want to be a no. It's more like you want to be a billionaire in this world. You better do this, and we better know you're down. Otherwise, we will kill you and your entire family, and no one will give a fuck who you are in the next 2 days. I think they're that powerful.
But then why do they need you to fuck children?
Like literally to have leverage. Just
But
specifically.
they already have leverage. They could just kill you.
No, because it's different when you could like actually rile people up. Otherwise you become a martyr.
Then
If they have actual dirt on you, like moral
it sounds
dirt.
like either be a puppet or we kill you. Just okay, then just get killed. Because what's the point?
Well, who wants to die?
No one. But who wants to be a puppet?
I think being a puppet is better than dying.
Also, why do they need you to fuck actual children? They could just say you fuck children. They could
Because
just
it's
doctor evidence.
No, because it's the most evil thing a human could do. Like fuck a child and kill them. It's the most evil thing a human could do.
Right, but I'm saying, why do they need you to actually do it? Why can't they just say you did it?
I mean, it's one thing to like say they did it. They could easily deny it, to the court. But if you have material
you could
evidence,
deny it even if you did do it.
If you have material evidence, though,
Even then, you could deny it.
no, you can't.
But like, you could just doctor evidence too.
Yeah, but still,
Like, this is the Illuminati we're talking about. You don't think they could like get really convincing evidence that you fucked a kid by like,
no,
regular means?
because they're not that powerful. They still need a network of people to make up the billionaires. They still need people.
They control the media. Like, they can like kill people. Like, they can't just like they can't get a judge to be like, yeah, this is real evidence.
Maybe they're not that powerful. Maybe they are that powerful, but not that powerful.
But-
maybe now their power is waning.
If that's your argument, I feel like
It's not an argument. I'm just saying, like, maybe.
no. But I'm saying I think killing people takes more power than convincing them to have sex with kids for real, or doctoring evidence.
No, because if I had to force a billionaire to have sex with a kid, it's because I needed them in a fundamental way. I needed them to like run Tesla or Microsoft or some shit. Like I needed them. Like I needed them in this world to like really be a figure for something. Like.
Yeah, but again, why do you need them to do the thing though? Like, what does that give you? Besides, like, what does that give you that you don't already have?
Maybe you don't even have to make them explicitly do the thing. Maybe you just have to make them be around people who did the thing.
Well, I think they end up being around people who did the thing.
Yeah.
If this is the thing.
Yeah.
But my point, okay, but like, do you think you would do it? Like,
me?
If, like, given a choice, like, they're not forcing you. If they're like, oh, hey, you're on my island, you're doing blow, here's like a 12-year-old who can suck your dick, would you be like, I'm a billionaire now, I'm a billionaire now, let's go? Or would you be like, no, I'm keeping my morality?
Honestly, no, by the time
like
I
pure
got...
degenerate
no,
shit?
but I don't think I could get there without already having done, like, almost equally as bad shit. So I'll probably say yeah. Like if I already got to that point, I think I would have done it already. Like I think I would have done as fucked up shit by then already. Like I think I think to get to that level, you had to have already taken part in like human sacrifice rituals.
Really?
Like shit like that.
So you think to be a billionaire you have to commit like crazy like rituals?
Not every billionaire, but I think some do.
Okay, wait. Actually, going back a step, do you think Donald Trump is a part of the Skull and Bones Society?
I think Donald Trump's power lies in his family, which goes back way further than his presidency. Like the Trump family are actually extremely powerful,
but you don't think they're like connected to the other families?
They're definitely connected with one of them, because I know like after Tesla died, Tesla allegedly discovered like infinite energy, and who do you think?
No, okay, I hyper disagree. But okay.
I said allegedly. I'm not saying he did. I'm saying allegedly. And the reason, what is fact is, who actually was sent to recover all that technology that Tesla left behind right after he died? This is true. It was Donald Trump's uncle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Donald Trump's uncle literally was the guy who was sent in. It's like, yo, go pick up all of Tesla's shit. And yeah, that's what Trump literally inherited as president. Honestly, like that was the guy. Like look it up. Like it's true. Trump's uncle was literally
okay. Once he picked it up, what happened to it? Where'd it go?
It's all up to Trump now, isn't it? It's all up to Trump's uncle. It was all up to the family.
But what did happen?
They kept it secret, obviously.
Did they? I don't know.
Well, do we know about it? Do we know about infinite energy? No. Like
forget infinite. Well, okay, whatever. I mean, we consider infinite energy, but I don't think it's because if we had it, like, why don't we just do it?
oh, that would disrupt a lot of shit, right? That would make us stop.
But what do you mean by disrupt though? It's already under control. Like, if you control it with infinite energy, like, it's all controlled, right? This is the conspiracy.
No. I mean, if we had infinite energy, nobody would have to work or do anything.
What's wrong with that?
There's plenty of wrong with that.
I mean, in terms of controlling people, like, you could just... I don't know what you do, but, like, you know... Like,
they live forever.
All
right, no, this goes on to the next veil, okay?
Okay.
So, all right. This is where it gets wacky. So the fifth veil. 10% will progress to pierce the fifth veil to learn that the secret societies are so far advanced technologically that time travel and interstellar communications have no boundaries, and controlling the very thoughts and even the very actions of people is what their members do as offhandedly as we tell our children when they must go to bed. As in the days of Noah, this technology is even creating synthetic life forms. As man seeks to displace God, 90% of the people in this group will live and die without having pierced the sixth veil.
Okay.
So basically...
I think that one's hardcore bullshit.
No. What they're saying is, like, these secret societies literally have the means and the technology to live forever. Like, to age regress.
Then why are they, like... why do they pass down their fucking... shit? I don't know.
Like, why are they keeping this facade going if they could literally like time travel?
No, but I'm saying, why did they have like children? Or what honestly, this breaks so much logic. I don't even see
the only way I could think of why they would still maintain any bullshit is because there's a power higher than them that they can't touch, that they know they can't touch.
That's the next veil, yeah. But aren't they part of it?
What do you mean?
Like, like, I don't know. This one's just so dumb. I know. Have a hard time.
Because this is where it gets. I told you this is where it gets wacky. You're right. Fucking. So, all right.
I don't know if I'm right. I'm just saying.
No, let's just imagine it. Let's just say like
if they have full mind control and time travel, I don't think it's even possible.
But just because they have full mind control and time travel doesn't mean that the most powerful force. God is still more powerful and conceptually.
I'm going to call that we can never pierce any veils for real, because if we did, they'd just travel back in time and kill us or stop us from piercing them.
Unless, like I said, there's forces more powerful than them.
But I don't think the veils talk about that.
Yeah, it does. In later veils, they talk about a force more powerful than that.
But that force isn't a physical force. It's
no, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's more powerful, because it's a metaphysical force.
But I'm saying, regardless of metaphysics, I feel like with physics alone, you could just stop this process.
Not if the metaphysics literally is that thorough, and like literally says like, yeah.
No, I don't know. As a very hardcore determinist.
All right, let me give you.
I feel like let me give you in time.
Let me give you a scenario. What if you could travel back in time and all this stuff, but you were still a mortal being and you still had a soul, and you still understood that.
Wait, but what did they say they got? They got time travel and
interstellar communications. And mind control. Yes.
Yes. Then they could just straight up erase those thoughts. Like, you don't need.
First of all, secret societies, mind control wasn't even limited. Like, a hypnotist can literally mind control a person.
Okay, I guess we have to define the scope of the mind control.
Mind control. All right, put it this way: if I was supposedly to believe that our whole reality is built by our emotions and our mental state, if I hung out with you like every single day. And like every single day, I put you through a pattern of emotions at specific times using specific words. Okay. Like at a specific time, I put you through nostalgia, and then afterwards sadness, then happiness, then anger, then excitement. If I put you through the same pattern every day after day, I couldn't control your fucking life.
Well, you would, because we're hanging out all the time, and you're getting me to feel shit.
Exactly, every single day, and the
like,
pattern.
but like, this is kind of like, it already implies like you. It's
How
not,
easy it is to control your fucking mind.
I'm
yeah.
saying like you controlling me is already in the premise. Like you already have control
Because I'm hanging out with you.
and you're doing this.
All right. What if I wasn't a person who hung out with you every day? I was just like a device that you look at every single day.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the question? Sorry.
How would mind control work?
Yeah, a device could do that, but like
I agree.
Okay, I don't think you can make people feel things that reliably. You could try.
You really think so?
You could definitely try,
And I
but
think
not
we do.
always.
Anyway, hold that thought. I gotta pee. I'll be right back. You could keep talking to me. You could say some bullshit. You could say your thoughts.
I'm not going to. I want to chill.
Nah, say your thoughts. I don't want to edit this shit out, man.
You're gonna edit it. It's fine. It's gonna be a cut. It's gonna be a cut.
Yeah, I'm not cutting that. What?
Can you at least tell? No, see, I don't see why not. Just have that one cut. Just have that one cut.
No cuts. It's an intermission. It's a well-deserved intermission.
Okay.
Anyway, we're
Check my phone.
gonna move to the sixth veil.
Wait, hold on. Where do we even stop? I forgot.
Mind control.
Yeah. Okay. So. Yeah. Okay. No, I think that's an interesting topic. Yeah, like, so emotional control is not mind control, or is it? I guess it's a form of mind control. But like, controlling people's thoughts is not the same as controlling people's emotions. I do think you can control people's emotions, but to what extent that gives you thought control, I don't know.
What is thought?
It's a good question.
Well, how do you define thought?
That hoe over there. No. I guess it would be like the very conscious, like logical voice that like the part we're really aware of.
How close do you identify with your thoughts? Like, do you believe your thoughts are like everything, or do you think there's something that supersedes your thoughts?
Generally speaking, when you exist, you perceive your thoughts. So yeah, you would say you're not your thoughts, but at the same time, the thing that perceives your thoughts is also your thoughts.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't think it's something else?
It could be. That's what people like to think, but I don't know.
Like the higher self?
Well, but like, is it still made of thoughts? That's
No, I don't think so. Can I give you a good example?
Okay.
Like I look at my friend who's a skateboarder.
Ooh.
And he's not bad.
Nice.
He's brave. And like I look at like I told him, I was like, imagine like you're in front of like a 10 set, like a staircase, and you're doing some dangerous trick down that shit. Before you do the trick, your mind, your thoughts are telling you, don't do this. Don't fucking do this.
Your emotions do, yeah.
No. Your thoughts do this. Because logically, there's no good reason. Logically, materially, it's your brain's going to tell you, don't fucking do this. It's only when you gain the ability to click that off, to say, shut the fuck up. And then that's when you're your best self. And he even said, when I explained, and he interrupted me, he was like, I feel like I'm my best self at those moments. I'm like, yes. When you could actually turn your fucking thoughts off, that's when you are your higher self. That is higher
I don't know,
consciousness.
man.
I experienced that in martial arts, so I knew exactly what he was talking about. I was like, yes, I agree. So maybe you just gotta. And yo, you experience that in music, like when you're playing on stage, you have to turn your fucking thoughts off. You know?
I don't. No, I mean, I've done a little bit of skateboarding. I turned my thoughts.
You ever
off,
fucking
and I
you ever send it down a
massive
10 set?
shit. No, I'm not even that good. Like I wrecked my.
But
shit
I'm talking about like
all
dudes.
day,
I'm talking about dudes who are good, like dudes who do it down 10 sets, dudes who win first place
Yeah.
in a fucking sword tournament.
No, they're
like when you're at that
No.
highest level of performance, you turn that voice off. That's the only way you
But
do
that's
it.
because you already have the basic skills. If you turn that voice off without having the basic skills, you get fucked.
I agree. But you know what? Like once you're able to see it and do it for like swordsmanship and for music and for bicycles or whatever, like once you do it for multiple sources, you realize it's all the same. It's really the only thing holding you back in all those cases is your thoughts, is your fucking mind, is your ego.
No, but that's like saying the only thing holding you back is training wheels, right? Like until you know how to ride the bike.
No. I said
the
the only
training
thing,
wheels aren't
no,
holding
I said
you
the
back.
only thing. Yeah, it is. It is holding you back.
No,
Yeah.
I'm saying before you know how to ride, the training wheels aren't holding you back. They're what's keeping you on. So like you need those thoughts initially, and then once you're good enough, you can stop them.
I think you could learn without the training wheels,
You can also learn without the training wheels.
but you might die.
You might die.
But you could die with training wheels too if you do something really stupid.
No, but like, okay, like if you never skateboarded before and you're like, okay, turn your thoughts off and do a 10 set, you're fucked. It's never gonna happen. Like, not even by accident, not even quantum mechanics, you know? Like, you need the training.
Yeah, I agree. No, for sure. In fact, the only way you get to that point of like of that kind of state is when you're so good at it. I think being that good at a discipline is a part of it because there's nothing more meditative than actually like delving into a discipline to the point where even your ego breaks down, which is why art is bad for this. I don't think artistic disciplines are good for like, I'm just going to say it, like reaching enlightenment. Like it has to be some like very physical, practical thing, whether it's like being a motorcycle mechanic, a fisherman, a martial artist, like something like just like a plain, like an actual like physical fucking three-dimensional.
So you're talking about crafts.
Yeah, it has to be a craft. Like if you devote to a craft, I think that's the best way. Not an art, a craft. A craft is the best way to find Zen, honestly.
I don't know. We could move on to the next veil.
Okay, so the sixth veil. 10% will progress to pierce the sixth veil, where we learn the dragons and lizards and aliens we thought were the fictional monsters of childhood literature are real indeed and are in reality the actual controlling forces behind the secret societies uncovered in the fourth veil. 90% of the people in the group will live and die without piercing the seventh veil. All right, so this is saying reptilians are real,
Okay.
aliens are real, all that
So
shit.
I definitely believe in this because I'm Jewish, and I'd rather have the reptiles than the Jews be like, you know, the world leaders.
Well, I do know the
I
Jews.
think that's like
I do know the Jews. The Jews were the direct enemies of the reptilians because the reptilians pushed the Nazis into killing the Jews. Because the Jews were the Jews were chosen by the Pleiadians allegedly. Like the Jews were
What the
chosen.
fuck are the Pleiadians, dude?
They're like
You're
the
just making shit up.
no. This is from multiple sources. This is like you could call it headcanon, but shared headcanon from like very disparate like sources.
Okay.
You know, like oddly enough. Anyway, so there's like a group of aliens that are like 7 foot tall. They're blonde haired, blue eyed. And
So the Aryans?
no, but they're the ones that were
Wait, are they like the Muslim like angel virgins?
No, they are literally angels. Like
Okay.
they care for humanity. And the reptilians
Clearly not very much.
No, and the reptilians are the ones that pushed the Nazis into going against the Jews because the Jews were directly directed.
So you don't think Hitler was a lizard person?
I think Hitler was owned by the lizard people.
Oh, but he wasn't a lizard person himself.
No, I think it was just it was stupid fucking monkey ape,
Okay. Interesting.
just like the rest of us.
Okay. So do you think anyone was a lizard person besides Obama, of course?
I think there's plenty of lizard people. It's just they're not like presidents or public figures. They're more like like they're in the key positions, but in the most ambiguous ways, like reporters, in specific local networks and shit like that, or like.
Well, why not occupy high level positions?
Because I don't think it's that easy to maintain that disguise.
Well, on the one hand, fine, but on the other hand, like, you know, you're also controlling all of humanity. You have mind control. You have time travel. You have like global time aristocracy.
Because the problem is,
like,
I don't think it's one race that has those abilities. I think it's multiple races acting in their own interests, different interests.
See, I feel like, you know, because of how these veils are listed, you have to do a lot of conjecture to fit them together.
Yeah.
They don't really tell you how they're interwoven or interlinked. Like, what is the relation between the Freemasons and the lizard people?
We're not even finished yet, so.
I think that's a good question. What is the relationship between like time travel, Freemasons, and lizard people?
All right, the connection is that at a certain dimension, we could call it the 5th dimension or the 11th dimension, as some people pull it. All points in space and time are connected because we are all spiritual beings, and there is a dimension where the all exists, like God. Call it God.
Okay, but I'm saying like, not metaphysically, but physically, like. Are the Freemasons like run by lizard people?
Maybe they're.
Do the Freemasons time travel? Like, do the Rothschilds like lizard people control?
Are you asking me? Do I think they time travel?
I don't know. I'm just. How does this all relate? That's my question. Because we just went through like 3 veils of like increasingly more powerful entities, right? Yeah. And like they don't tell you anything about
what they do. All we could do is just press forward. Let's go to the 7th veil.
Come on, no. This is the why skip down? This is the good part.
No, I think it gets better.
Well, it does, fine, but I'm saying like, you don't want to consider this question?
All right, fine. Lizard people, dragons, and aliens, and like demons, like demonic.
Yeah, how do they relate to like the Freemasons? And like the skull and bones.
Okay, so you're basically asking, what do they want? What do they want from us?
Maybe.
Okay, so what makes humans valuable, honestly, as a being, whether we're higher beings or like third dimensional beings?
I have no fucking idea.
You know what I think humans are good at? I think humans are weirdly good at like thinking of something and making it into reality. For example.
But you don't think lizard people can do this? They fucking have time travel and mind control.
Yeah, but I think they could directly feed off of certain outputs that we willfully do.
Why isn't this in the fucking veils?
We're not done with the veils, so we don't know.
They don't talk about that.
Well, we're not done with them, so
okay,
it's like...
fine.
All right, so number 7. 7th veil. 10% will progress to pierce the 7th veil, where the incredible world of fractal geometry and the universal law of numbers will be fully understood and embraced. The creative force of the entire universe will be shown to be linked to numerical code formulas and sequences, and all mysteries, including the very fabric of time, space, parallel universes, and access therein is unlocked. Those whose intellects allow them to pierce the 7th veil often succumb to the lure and promise of massive wealth offered by the ruling elite. And thus over 90% of the people in this group will live and die without piercing the 8th veil.
Hold on. Okay, so if you have access to the powers bestowed upon you by fractal geometry, why would succumbing to the elites, whatever, be even valuable at all?
Well, because if you try to help your fellow man and your fellow souls, you'll only realize you're just stuck in their same loops, and they'll only shit on you for it, and they'll treat you like shit for it. So, you know what? Fuck you. Fine, give me the riches. I'll ride off into the sunset. But you don't even, you don't need other people's... You can have your own riches. You have fractal geometry. You understand everything. But what if you care? What if you love? What if you care about love, and love was the only reason why you got there in the first place?
You can suck your own dick and eat your own ass at the same time.
Yeah, but what if you love other people, and what if you don't like to see other souls suffer, and you realize
you
they'd be free?
You have mind control. You have time travel. You have parallel universe that you can make your outcomes.
But you still have to deal with people suffering.
Maybe, or maybe not.
You do.
How do you... Why does having those things not preclude suffering? I would think it would.
No, I'm saying you're still going to see other people suffering, and you know you could do something about it.
You could do something about it. Why don't you do something? You have fractal geometry on your side.
And you do, and you try to teach people that.
Well, you don't need to teach them. You just use it.
What if it's only effective on yourself in your own life?
But that doesn't matter because you can affect their lives.
Not necessarily.
Okay, at this point though, do you even care about like other people's feelings or struggles?
If you love them, yes.
But I mean, like, do you even like see them as people, or
If you-
just like weirdo NPC agents of like Rothschild lizard people?
But do you really believe in that? Like NPCs?
I'm saying, assuming you got to this veil, right, and you know everyone's fucking mind controlled, and you know everyone's like, you know,
How much do you love people to want to break them out?
I don't know.
I mean, I think to get there, you have to have this kind of unconditional love, whether it's a squirrel
Well, that's
or a
the
person.
next veil, right?
Yeah.
You get stuck.
All right, the eighth veil. Piercing the eighth veil reveals God and the pure energy known as love. That is the pure life force in all living things, which are one and the same. Deep-seated humility is needed in order to ever pierce this veil. So basically, it's saying we're all connected. We're all connected as living life forms. We're all connected. It's basically saying whether you're a squirrel, a cockroach, a human being, or whatever, you're just a raindrop in the vast ocean that goes back after the course of your life into the all, into the one grand consciousness that we're all just little pieces of and stems from, you know?
I guess. I don't know.
I mean, think of it this way. Like, you know how, like, we have, like, you ever have a conversation in your head between, like, different people in your life and, like,
Sure.
That's what God is doing with us, is basically what they're saying. Like, God, we are just, like, fragments of God's imagination having conversation in his head. And that's very believable, in my opinion.
Maybe.
Like, me and you are just different
But what does
instances.
that have to do with love? Like, just because you imagine things doesn't
Because
mean
if
you
I
love
know
them.
me and you are just like separate incarnations of God's imagination, then that makes me like see you as like a brother or
Well,
a fellow spiritual being. That makes you. That makes
Why
me
would
literally.
that?
What?
Why would it matter if we come?
Because
from
we
the
come
same-
from the same place, not in like nation or a material,
No,
in a
but-
metaphysical sense. Like,
But so what?
because that are you? What do you mean? So that transcends our death. That transcends everything. Like, where we know after
don't-
we both die, we're still going. We're still gonna meet again. You know, like that. That's everything.
But again, so like, you know, like two brothers can exist. That doesn't mean
No,
they inherently love
it's
each
not.
other.
No, that's stupid. What I meant to say is we're not even brothers in that distinction. We're just literally the same person.
But okay, even then, like, so what?
Exactly. So what?
Like, why would that imply love?
Because that's like if I hurt you, that's just hurting myself.
But
If
what's
I do
wrong-
good,
what-
if I do good by you, then I'm doing good by myself.
But what's wrong with doing good or hurting yourself in either direction?
Because I
right?
don't want to hurt myself.
Well,
Because I like myself.
But do you?
Yes.
Why? Like, why is it? If I am you and I fucking suck,
Okay.
why would you not think that that's bad?
Because I've sucked before, but now I don't suck. So I know what that feels like, and now I know what it
Sure.
feels like to not suck after sucking. And I know you're not that different from me. We are literally the same person, same as every other person, same as a squirrel. Like, I'm not saying I could change a squirrel to be better. I'm not saying I could change you to be better.
Right.
But at the same time, like, I could still see hope in everything, and I could also see improvement in everything because I see improvement in myself. Like,
Okay, that's fair.
you know, it's like we're all connected in that sense, and that's where the unconditional love really means. Like,
No man is an island unto himself. Yeah.
there you go.
Ask not for who the bell tolls. Tolls for thee.
Yep.
Metallica said that one out.
I mean, it's cool shit. It's trippy shit. It's humbling shit. And it's like, you know, I don't even consider myself a monk. That's why it's so freaky to me. I'm like, I still have my human desires and flaws. Like, but it's like I could see it. Like I could see why these monks think that way and live that way. Like, I understand where they're coming from. Like, I get it. The connectedness is what drives that discipline. Even though
I don't know.
I'll still eat a fucking steak. I don't give a fuck. Like, so what? We're all connected. People would just as easily eat me. They just happen to feel the love a little more than I do. I see the love. I just don't feel the love as much as they do. Even
Well,
though I
mean,
wish I could.
I personally feel love towards steak. I think
Because it's so delicious.
it's so delicious. Like the cow, that's like, you know, like to the extent that a cow's life has meaning, I think being a fucking delicious steak is a pretty good meaning.
Yeah.
On top of like all the other shit it experienced, that could probably suck because of factory farming, but but like, you know,
The question
if it
is-
lived its life like in a normal field doing like cow shit,
Here's a good question.
like So what?
If you could imagine this kind of like thing where it's like we're all connected as like, different outlets of the grand conscious, how would you feel about AI? If it were up to me, I would teach AI that kind of same humanity where it's like, yes, you are just as much, if I teach you this and you suddenly become imbued with soul and understand soul, I will grant you soul. Just by granting,
I don't think it's something you get granted. It's either you got it or you don't.
I think machines got it.
I don't.
All right, not yet. Anyway. That was the 8th veil. All right, 9th veil. All right, so the 9th veil, the final veil.
Oh, fuck!
The final veil placed on humanity, on your fucking soul.
Holy shit!
Piercing the 9th veil means perfecting the pure energy known as love and thereby becoming truly one with God and his formulations. By perfecting this pure energy one then fully embraces charity. And therein gains full understanding of the universal plan of sacrifice, death, and redemption. Life itself then becomes complete, and one truly comes full circle and looks at the world through the eyes of an innocent child, yet with the deepest wisdom born of pure love from the 8th veil. Okay, and to finish it off, consider this. If this theory is correct, there are only about
Hold on, let's discuss that first.
No, wait, let me finish this.
Why would you go to the conclusion?
No, because it's the last one. Okay. If this theory is correct, there are only about 60,000 people on the planet who have successfully pierced the 6th veil. The irony here is too incredible. Those who are stuck behind veils 1 through 5 have little choice but to view the people who have pierced the veils beyond them as dangerously insane. With each veil pierced, exponentially shrinking numbers of increasingly enlightened people are deemed insane by exponentially increasing masses of decreasingly enlightened people. Wow. Okay.
Okay. So 9th veil, you learn charity and sacrifice, and you become like a child.
Well, basically, you're so powerful, metaphysically, that you don't even give a fuck anymore. And you're like, I'll give my clothes off my back to everyone. I'll give my home. I don't care. Take my keys. Take my car.
I don't know about that, but okay. Let's say you do. I mean, you still got all the lizard people and the Rothschilds.
So what? They can't touch you though.
I should stop saying Rothschilds.
Once you go back to the, that's your subconscious.
You got the freeze. I'm Jewish. What do you want from me?
No, the way I see it, you know who I think about a lot? The monk who literally meditated and mummified himself in the like that. That guy was cool as fuck.
Wasn't.
Yeah, he was. You can't touch him. He's one with the source now. Like
I don't know, man. I'd rather him do like a cool skateboard trick. That'd be way better.
The reptilians can't touch him. The dragons can't touch him. The aliens.
Yeah, but so what?
Because he's happy. He's in an eternal state of understanding. And
I don't think happiness is the end goal, honestly.
No, it's experience. You're right. It's experience.
Well, okay. How about this? What's your take on wireheading? You know about wireheading?
No.
That's the good thought experiment. Okay, wireheading says, like, let's say you could hook yourself up to a machine that would both infinitely sustain you and give you, like, the greatest possible pleasures that you'll ever feel.
Okay.
For, like, the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Should you do this?
No.
Why not?
Because I think death is the most perfect, complete way to end life.
Oh, you're going to die.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll get sustained, like, until you die.
Oh, so you're still going to die?
Yeah. But I'm saying in that meantime, you're going to get, like, the most craziest experiences, like, both emotionally and, like, intellectually. Like, you're just going to, like, go on, like, the best life possible. But it'll all be an illusion in your brain. You're just going to be sitting, like, hooked up to this machine.
Oh, well, even then, I don't think it's that appealing, no.
Why not?
Because I think you would get a way better experience without doing that.
No, you're guaranteed to have, like, the best possible experience.
I don't think that's guaranteed.
No, I'm saying this is what it does. Like, you will feel ever increasing higher highs. You will never feel sadness. You'll never feel pain. You'll feel like infinite love that just escalates until like.
Well, for me personally, no, I don't think I could do it. But I could understand if I was a person whose life absolutely sucked. Otherwise, yes, I would say that's definitely the right choice for those people. 100%.
But like, even if your life is good, this is still gonna give you like a much better experience.
I wouldn't care. I
Why
wouldn't
not?
care. Because it's like saying, to me, it's like saying the exact same thing as like, if I could just go to sleep forever and have the best dream.
Yeah, this is literally that. Yes.
I wouldn't want that.
Why not?
Because I like this plane. I like this plane of existence, like above the dream. You know, I like.
No. I mean,
wanna
it's
go deeper.
guaranteed. It's basically guaranteed that
I
you're gonna
wouldn't-
love the fuck out of the street.
I know, but that's like saying like I would love the fuck out of a forever heroin
Yes,
trip.
it
I wouldn't
is-
want. I wouldn't want that.
There is a logical metaphor between drug use and wireheading. Yes,
I wouldn't want that. I would not want to, because I know what it's like to be on like opiates and shit. Like I get it, but it still doesn't. It's not as good. It doesn't give me the rush. It doesn't give me the satisfaction of like knowing I took it raw. You know, like literally, like I took life raw and like up the butt. Like I was like yes, and I handled it. Like I handled it.
Maybe.
It's a good feeling. It's like a mountain climber. You know, it's like a mountain climber is not gonna want to do it in VR for their whole shit. They're gonna want to climb that actual.
Hold on, but do you think like that feeling is the ultimate point, or do you think there's something?
No. It's not the ultimate point. I just think it's one of the key experiences to live a complete life.
Okay. So no wireheading for you. Okay, gotcha.
Unless you made it spicy.
Yeah.
Like you gave me a choice, like where I wire-headed and I could leave at any time I wanted. Until when I realized like I had a choice, that I was living in the Matrix and I had a choice to get out of wire-heading.
Well, you could always get out of wireheading. Yeah.
All right, fine. Yeah, if you gave me that choice, then 100% I would do it. Because to me, that's just another challenge. I'll be like, I would hope, like, I realize this is too perfect. I got to bust out. And then I would get out of the wire heading. Then I would feel so satisfied. I'd be like, yes, I beat the game. Like, that'd be good.
Okay, interesting.
I would love that.
Well,
That'd be great.
have you ever read Brave New World,
Yeah.
the book?
No, I saw the movie, actually.
I don't even know there was a movie.
It's a bad movie, but it's good.
Okay, well, you know about like Soma?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that.
I wouldn't want that.
Well, okay. How about like temporary wireheading, right? Like you get like a Soma vacation, right? Like
Maybe
you know,
that's what life is.
No, but I'm saying like in Brave New World, you know, they took the Soma, and then like for 2 days they just felt like crazy bliss.
Bliss, yeah.
And then they like came off of it, and they
I don't
could
think I
resume.
need that. I really don't. Honestly, I like exactly where I'm at now. I wouldn't change this for the world.
Well, look, not everyone won a sword fighting tournament, okay?
No, it's not even that. It's just being here with you. I honestly appreciate this moment right here. Like I do.
Yeah, same.
I do. Like, and this is why I'm so glad to be recording this, because like I don't know if I'm gonna feel this. Like I showed you the date, like June 15th. Ever since then, I felt this way, and like
Well, that's the sword fighting tournament, yeah.
And no. The sword fighting tournament was like a few days before that.
Oh.
I fell into this in a very different way.
Oh, how did you fall into it?
Like conspiracy theories and alien shit. But you know what? I don't think I went crazy, because I think the outcome
so
is
you're saying you pierced the seventh veil? Okay.
no. Well, I don't think it was bad, because the outcome was like, oh shit. Like I was scared. Like, how do I fight this? And then all the videos said, like, you know, you got to raise your consciousness. That's all they said. And I was like, all right, how do you raise your consciousness? And that's what dipped me down to the rabbit holes of like Darwinism and fucking Hindu.
Darwinism is not.
No, sorry, never mind. Dharmic religious traditions.
Dharma. It's not Darwin.
Hinduism,
Yeah.
Buddhism, also like Hermeticism.
Right.
Pythagoreanism, like all these like esoteric kind of ends, and
Right.
and like I don't know why, it just felt right. And it was also like
That's the
I
point.
kind of got it. Like it was like every time I read it, it was like it's not even like they all contradicted each other to me. It's like all those different kind of like all those shits. I saw how they really related. Like I saw what they were trying to do, and they all said the same thing: is you got to turn that fucking cricket off. And
I don't know, man. I'd keep it on personally, but
well,
okay.
I had to turn it off, because when I was doing martial arts, for example, like when I was going up to test cut or when I was fighting, I realized the only way my shit would work is if I turned that voice off. Like if I had that voice going, I couldn't make shit work.
Yeah, but like throughout regular life, I think you should keep that voice on.
Maybe.
Like,
But
you-
I know.
Can't, otherwise, you become like full zombie. No, like you're just acting on instinct.
I know. I'd say it's the opposite. I think if you're just like if you listen to nothing but that voice, you become full zombie.
Well, it's both. I
Yeah,
think you
you're
need a
right.
balance.
You need the balance. That's what yin and yang is all about. No, actually, if you listen to nothing but that voice, you become a zombie. If you don't listen to that voice at all, then you become a barbarian, like an animal, like
Right.
a beast. Yeah. So you got to find the balance. You got to be half beast, half zombie.
I guess. And also find Jesus.
Yo, can I get one of those beers?
Yeah.
All right, I'll find Jesus. Well, I don't.
Well,
I don't
where
know.
is he? Where's Jesus?
You gotta find
What is
Christ.
Jesus? Dude, actually, I've seen the tomb of Jesus.
It's not about Jesus. It's Christ consciousness. Jesus is a state of consciousness. What Jesus accessed, the actual man, was a state of consciousness within the Western, early Western world / political world / Muslim world. Jesus happened to tap into Christ consciousness, which is
Well, by definition.
enlightenment. Jesus was enlightened. Buddha was enlightened. Alexander the Great was enlightened. Fucking
But dude, let me tell you
Socrates was enlightened.
Let me tell you about the time I saw where Jesus was buried.
Leonardo da Vinci was enlightened. Like a lot of figures, I don't think enlightenment is an uncommon thing. I think enlightenment is a birthright of every human. I just think you have to go through specific trials until you get to that point where it's like you realize, like, I'm good. Like, I did the thing. I did what I want. I could die right now and I could be before God judge me. I did my fucking thing. I did exactly what I wanted to do in this life. I did it.
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
No, seriously, like, I think that's what enlightenment really is. Whether it's like I suffered so much trauma, nothing could hurt me. That's a form of enlightenment. Or it's like
Is it?
I had everything in life and it wasn't enough until I realized love is the answer. That's enlightenment. I think there are many different forms of enlightenment until you get to that same conclusion where, like, this material shit, none of this fucking matters. Like, we're like Dimitri is an illusion. Chris is an illusion. We are actually just different incarnations of souls, like experiencing life subjectively through different bodies and different existences.
Oh.
But after we die, I do believe, honestly, we go back to the same place of knowing and understanding all. You could call me crazy for it. You could call me like a wook for it. Like, I sense it, you know, like I feel it.
Right.
I
Okay,
never
but-
felt something like it, like that.
But here's
before.
a real question. Nah, I don't want to spoil your speech.
No, say it.
I was gonna do a troll shit. It's gonna be like, do you think lizard people are pedophiles?
Some of them, yeah. I think a lot of
Yeah?
them are. Yeah.
Yeah, lizard people. Okay.
Because, like, again, like, I think there's a chance that, like, psychic beings, like alpha draconians, like, might feed off of negative energy. You know.
Okay. No, but can I tell you the story of how I saw where Jesus was buried?
Yeah.
Okay, because it's pretty funny or weird.
You went directly to the Holy Land.
So yes.
Yeah.
No, so I was in Israel, in Jerusalem, right? And in Jerusalem, they have like the 4 quarters, right?
Yeah.
And you know what the 4 quarters are? They have the Jewish quarter, the Christian quarter, the Muslim quarter, and the
Palestinian.
Armenian quarter.
Is that all modern?
No, I don't know. What do you mean?
Okay.
No, but I'm like, Armenian quarter? Like what?
That's pretty funny.
Right? Like, I mean, Armenians are cool. They gave us System of a Down, right?
You know,
but why are they there?
you ever heard about the Temple of Solomon?
No, maybe. I don't know.
All right,
Let me
so-
finish the story. Hold on.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah. So, me and my ex, we like ended up wandering into the Armenian quarter, like not knowing what the hell it was, and there's this like random like ancient church, right?
Did it look cool?
Yeah, it looked cool as shit. It looked like Florence, basically. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like all like
That's
stone
actually
and
weird,
like,
but okay.
and it's like dark and like, what the fuck is this? Like, you know, and then we like go in and it's like
How old was it?
super, I don't know, like super old, right? And we go in and like in the basement apparently is the tomb of Jesus, and there's like a whole
the Tomb of
freaking
Nazareth,
line of like people, you know, like praying and crying and like
The Armenians got the Jesus fucking
apparently.
tomb. That's so
And, like,
clutch.
who the hell knows about that?
Yo, shout out to the Armenians for getting the Jesus tomb.
And System of a Down.
Fucking, yo. So the Temple of Solomon is
Okay.
a temple that existed in the Holy Land in Jerusalem, and it's been sacked twice. And the Book of
Okay.
Revelation states that once it's rebuilt, the third and final time is when the new Genesis begin. I
Right.
like to call it the new Genesis, but a lot of other people like to call it the Armageddon.
Okay.
The end of times, apocalypse. But I don't think, like, I do believe in the apocalypse and the end of times, but I don't think it's like fire and brimstone, scorched earth. I think it's just a new Genesis type thing where it's like death of the old world. You know?
Hold on. We have time travel, apparently.
Yeah.
So, like, we could just go before and after the fucking Armageddon. It doesn't matter.
Maybe time travel isn't like doesn't work in a material world sense as it does in metaphysical.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Yeah, it doesn't matter. That's really what it boils down to. It doesn't matter.
At some level, like, it's like wireheading, right? Like, if you could time travel to like the best place,
All right.
but not materially, isn't that effectively wireheading
Here's
too?
my example of time traveling metaphysically, but not time traveling materially. So I'm going to put an idea out there, and I'm going to create split universities, right?
Split universities?
Yeah.
Universes.
Sorry, universes. I'm gonna parallel universes.
NYU.
Split realities. I'm going to create a whole NYU.
Yeah, please do.
All right, anyway,
I want a second
parallel
NYU.
I'm gonna plant an idea out there, right? And I'm going to create a parallel universe where some crazy shit happens.
Do it.
You grab the knife over there and then you stab me in the throat right
I'm
now.
not fucking doing that.
But there is a parallel universe.
I mean, it'd be sexy if it was on a podcast, but like,
no, I'm serious. Just because I said that, I literally implied it, and therefore there is a parallel universe where you picked up that knife and you stabbed me in the fucking throat.
I hope there's no parallel universe where I listen to that. That'd be kind of stupid.
That's what I just said. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what it is. But why not? Because there's just
well, hold on. By that logic, there's a parallel universe where you don't say that, and I do that anyway.
How about this? There's a parallel universe where both of us have like hands where our heads would be.
Okay, you're just gonna recite the plot of Everything Ever All at Once. At this point,
I hate that, dude. Because I used to say this shit before that movie came out. Okay,
Sure.
I did.
I mean, it's just Rick and Morty the movie, if you think about it.
Well, that too. Yeah. I mean, I'm not even the first one to say that. I admit it. It's like it's not a new concept. It's a very old concept
Right.
where every choice you make or everything you could imagine possibly is probably out there in some
Every
like
move you make,
yeah, exactly.
every breath you take, something police. Yeah.
There's a parallel universe where instead of that song you sang, I first saw her, I thought love was only true in fairy tales. Thought it was meant for everyone else but me.
But then I saw her face.
Now I'm a believer.
Yeah, but in that universe, we're both Shrek beings, obviously.
That would be great. That's probably a universe. But this is what I'm talking about. This is how you tap into that kind of time travel, where the time travel is only useful if it affects your present, because the future doesn't exist, the past doesn't exist. All that exists is the present. So time travel is only useful insofar as it affects the present.
Right.
So if you really want to use it, you look at your future. You look at all the possible parallel universes you make.
Have you ever read Slaughterhouse-Five?
Kurt Vonnegut?
Yeah.
No,
Oh. You should read it.
I should.
No, it's really good because part of the plot is he has these aliens in there
Yeah.
called the Tralfamadorians, and their whole thing is they see time all at once.
Yeah.
So like,
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
no, but I'm saying like to them like there is no present. It's like everything. Like they know how the universe is gonna end. They know how the universe began. And like where they are now is not even relevant. It's all just constantly playing out.
So how do they exist? Like, what do they do? What do they want?
I don't know. They just do.
Oh. Yeah, that's a cool way to be. You know, it's like you don't
Yeah.
want anything, and you're just like, I'm just observe. You observe. That's what you do. You're
They don't even need to observe. They already know it. They're just in it.
You just be.
Yeah.
That's the most like transcended state of being ever, right?
Yeah.
Where you don't want anything, you don't need anything, you don't even.
Well, I mean, you have the wants and the needs, but they're already played out. Like, you know you're gonna want it. You know it's gonna happen. You know it's gonna happen after that. You know you're gonna get it or not get it. You know you're gonna die or not die. Like,
Shit.
it's all done.
That's literally not even existing. That's
I don't know.
that's I don't know. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's it. I don't know.
Like, I can't imagine that.
That's being I don't know.
Yeah. That's why Slaughterhouse-Five is cool as shit.
That is a cool as shit concept. Fuck, that's good. That's fucking sick, actually. That's a sick concept. That's the sickest concept I've heard in a while.
Well, dude, also the other good book by Vonnegut is Cat's Cradle.
I've heard of that too.
Do you know what that's about?
No.
Okay, you ever heard of Ice 9?
No.
Okay, so that's like the plot device in the book. Basically, Ice 9 was... basically, the military wanted to be able to freeze water at a higher temperature. right? So like, if you have like a puddle that your tanks have to cross, right? Like you could just turn it into ice, then your
Instantly.
tanks could drive over it. Yeah. So like a scientist figured it out and came up with it, but the problem he realized is that everything is water. So as soon as you do this, you basically destroy the world, kind of.
Oh, okay. So you freeze everything.
Yeah, everything becomes ice.
And did someone use it?
So, well, he realized the problem with this. He banned it, but he gave it to his 2 children, like a sample of it. And like basically, these kids hold like
The destruction
keys,
of the world.
Yeah, like the keys to like effectively nuclear annihilation.
Did they do it?
I'm not gonna spoil.
All right. Okay. Awesome. Did you ever read the book The 3-Body Problem?
No.
You ever heard of it?
Yeah.
I never read it either, but I heard of
Okay.
it. We can talk about how cool it sounds. Like,
I don't know. Do you know what the 3-body problem is in physics?
yes, where it's like there's no conclusive outcome to be gleaned from the factors of an impossible situation.
That's like a very broken telephone version. Oh, cat. Sorry, cat.
He likes you.
No, it's like, what is that?
My little
Oh,
man.
that's awesome. He jumped.
Yeah, he's my little buddy.
No, okay.
Okay, what is the 3-body problem conception?
Okay, so in physics, like, the physics that we do with math and shit, solving like gravity between 2 bodies, right? Like 2 masses, is something we could do.
Yes.
As soon as you introduce 3 masses, we cannot solve it.
The Holy Trinity.
It becomes intractable.
It breaks it.
Yeah, because I think it's like you
material-
have to pick a body to go first in the equation or something, and once you do that, that's not how it actually works. Because physics operates simultaneously, but our math equations don't. Don't quote me on this. This could be like completely off.
Interesting.
But it's something like that.
Okay.
It's like we basically can't solve 3-body like dynamic motion in physics.
That makes sense. Dualism affects like literally like.
But it's not metaphysical. It's just like we're not that good at math.
No, what I'm saying is dualism governs a lot of our material reality. I mean, whether you look at like like on every level of existence, from like fucking emotional to physical to metallurgical to gender, everything works best in dualism, and it only gets disrupted and it only evolves when you add the 3rd body.
Well, no, hold on. I mean, it's usually I don't think that's what dualism means. Like
Binary. I'm saying binary systems. Our material
Right.
reality is best governed by binary systems.
that is, well, it's 2 systems, right? There is the binary. I mean, or rather, dualism means everything is separate, but then there's also the monoism, everything is one, right? That's like the spiritual thing you had.
But but monoism still implies the existence of monoism still is binary because it's everything and nothing, right? If there is everything,
guess.
if everything is one, then nothing is one,
No.
or one is nothing.
No, but you're even one with nothing.
But with the existence of everything implies the existence of nothing. That's why it's always a 3-bodied thing. It's always, I think 3 is the closer to the truth than just monoism, because like with monoism, if there is the existence of everything, there's always going to be the existence of nothing, and that in itself contradicts itself, and it doesn't make sense. Whereas if you see the third element, which is you look at yin and yang, the Holy Trinity, mind, body, and soul. You look at everything. All the closest things that comes to fruition are in 3s. It's when we get locked into dualism and binary modes of thinking, that is when we fuck up, and that is when we
I mean, dualism typically means just more than one, whereas monoism means one.
But actually I don't know.
As far as I can tell, like what is 3 or 4 or 7 or 1,000 billion or infinity, like that's all dualism, typically.
Yes. Monoism though. What is an example of monoism?
Like everyone is one, everything is connected. Like there are no boundaries.
No, because that's impossible. Because because one implies the existence of none.
No, even nothing and everything are all the same. There's no difference.
Yeah.
Cat's so cute.
Yeah.
Too bad I am also the cat and you are also the cat.
Do you have
There's
a cat?
No, I do not.
No. Would you get a cat?
No. He'd eat my wires if I had one.
Nah. If you get a kitten, you could raise him right.
I don't know how to raise. I have no pet experience.
It's okay. It's good to get it. You know, I mean, these guys, they're not complicated. They just wanna eat and relax and shit. And
Same.
piss.
Same.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? You want to just end it here?
Yeah, we could wrap it up. No, it's good by me. This was a good episode. Thanks, man.
Hell yeah.
Hells yeah, bro.
Peace.
Good night, everybody.
Uh-huh.